What is up, everybody? It's your boy Doody back again with another video, and this time we're taking a look at our boy DSP's daily rap video from last night. And I think this might be a record, folks. That's right, Phil managed to keep his daily rap video under 5 minutes, clocking in at 4 minutes and 7 seconds. That has to be a record, folks. And by the way, Phil, if you're watching this, brevity is your friend. That's right, you should be keeping these rap videos to a minimum of less than 6 to 7 minutes tops. Okay, Phil, you do yourself a great deal of benefit keeping them slow, and you also help your boy Doody out. So I'm curious to know why the daily rap was so short. Typically when it is this short, it's when the whales and the dents have come out and wailed out for him, and he made tons of work, and he's just dying to get to those WWE champions pool. But that wasn't the case yesterday. Phil struggled to get to the tier 2 typical on both streams and only managed to do it once. So let's see what Phil had to say.
Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Tuesday, the 3rd of October, 2023. This is going to be a fast one, and the reason being, I filmed an extra video tonight. I actually did my review of Scream 5 for my React channel, DSP React. I turned everything off. I shut everything down. I sit down on my computer. All I got to do is upload the videos, and I'm done. And I realized I didn't film the Daily Wrap. I'm like, oh no. So I had to turn everything back on, redo all the streaming stuff. Like, oh boy. Anyway, here's today in summary. Great level 1 podcast. No real game news to talk about outside of maybe one or two very minor update stories like Game Pass games coming out. But we had an interesting suggestion from a viewer that we have implemented called the suggestion box. This is a thread that I am now going to post up once a month on DSP Gaming, where you guys are going to be able to post up your suggestions for improvement. Do you have games you'd like to see me play? Do you have something that you think I could improve in my setup? A change to my schedule? All kinds of stuff that could be possible suggestions that I could do something to improve my content here on the channel. Notably, I would love feedback on merchandise stores who may be willing to make merch for me, considering the fact of what's happened with Teespring, now Spring, and how basically they completely unprofessionally dealt with me 2.5 years ago. I would like to deal with a company that's more mature than that. Anyway, you'll see what I'm talking about if you watch the podcast from this morning. Give it a look. Then we jumped back into Resident Evil 4 Remake's Separate Ways DLC.
Okay, Phil. So yes, Phil decided to implement a new segment called the suggestion box segment, where once a month or once a week, I'm not sure exactly when he's planning to do it, he plans to review the suggestions submitted by folks on his community tab, and Phil will do his best, of course, to crap all over it and not actually take any criticism or suggestions too hard. He'll probably spend most of his time shitting on those suggestions. And of course, you know, you'll get the significant amount of detractor and troll comments, which of course Phil will not post, even if it's remotely good criticism. Like your boy Doody typically gives Phil some good criticism and good suggestion from time to time, which of course he doesn't implement. So since Phil, you are asking for suggestions and comments and feedback, I'm going to do it right here. And hopefully you're watching this, because we all know that you watch your boy Doody's content. So, okay, Phil, here's a couple of suggestions for you. First of all, well, the first main thing is your podcast is supposed to start at 1:45, but you never start at 1:45. You typically jump on and start talking at 2:10. There should be no reason why you're taking 25 minutes to start up your podcast. If you want to start your podcast up at 2:10, start it at 2:10. At max, start it at 2 o'clock. There should be no reason why you have your crappy slideshow and music running for 25 minutes. That's the first thing. The second thing is stop being late. You're always late for your podcast. That means you don't respect other people's time and you don't respect your time, which is a no-no. The third suggestion is limit the podcast. There are tons of at least 4 out of the 6 podcasts every week. You talk about how you don't have anything to talk about, and you spend most of your time doing Q&A and shoutouts. When that's the case, Phil, just cut your podcast short. There's no reason for you to make your podcast an hour and a half long every day. It's not needed. If you need 30 minutes to discuss your topics and to go through your shoutouts, spend 30 minutes and then use the rest of the time to do gameplay. It's that simple. Fourth suggestion, stop burping. Stop sneezing, stop burping, stop making nasty noises. If you need to burp and snort or whatever the case is, mute your mic. It's not that difficult. You did it during the Side Scrollers podcast. You spent 5 hours on an interview and not once did you snort or burp. So you can do it, Phil. So, that just shows a level of respect for your viewers, that you don't go around just burping and snorting and just being utterly disgusting. So those are 4 good suggestions, Phil, that cost you nothing whatsoever, that you can implement without any issue, and you can actually do it starting day one. Today, when you do your podcast, you can implement these suggestions. It's easy, it's free, and I'm sure your viewers would enjoy it. I know I would enjoy it myself. I have tons of other suggestions, Phil, but I know those cost money and you won't do it. Mainly, get your ass a PC. You need a PC. There's no reason why you as a streamer do not have a PC setup. You're just lazy, cheap, and just dumb for not having it. So those are my suggestions for you, Phil. 5. I gave you 5 good suggestions that you can implement that would improve your streams. And it would make it a more enjoyable experience. As terrible as your content is, it would still make it a more enjoyable experience if you implemented some of these. So let's keep going.
Which is funny because, again, everyone's saying, oh, that DLC is like 5 hours long. We are over 6 hours into it. I haven't finished chapter 5, and the game has 7 chapters. And I'm not dying tons or anything like that. Every once in a while I'll die. But it's not like I'm stuck on anything. I've been making very solid progress the entire time I've been playing. I think what it is when you tend to play for an audience, you're reading all the logs, you're exploring a little bit more, I'm interacting with my audience, it takes longer. And I'm playing it on hardcore difficulty. So, 6 hours in, we're not done yet. We actually ended at a boss fight just like last stream, where I ended at a boss fight and couldn't finish it. Same exact thing happened today. So it looks like we're going to have to do either another major stream or maybe a night stream or 2 in order to finish up this playthrough moving forward. Had a great time with it, though. Really, it's an enjoyable DLC, just as good as the original game earlier this year. I hope you'll give it a look. Tonight, the late stream was ScamField. 2 hours of progression. That was fun because it was very different from the last many streams that I've done. Focusing in on Sam Coe and his original mission to kind of get him recruited to be your follower, and then continuing on with that. I just kept doing constellation missions for about 2 hours tonight. We got to an interesting part in the plot, without spoiling, that kind of changes the gameplay mechanics of the game. And I was like, oh, something changes the gameplay mechanics of the game? I didn't even know that. I thought that it was going to be the same the whole game, and I was happy for that. Maybe it'll make the game a little bit more interesting moving forward. We'll see. But it was a great stream. Overall today, pretty solid. We did not hit the tips goal tonight on the late stream. It's only the...
Yes, I must say that those playthroughs, Resident Evil 4 and ScamField. I mean, I'm playing ScamField and enjoying it quite a bit. There's some interesting stuff to do. It's your typical Fallout game in space, yeah, but you make it so boring, Phil. I was watching your stream last night and I was literally falling asleep. And the bad thing is you make it so boring that my clips and my videos suffer from it, Phil. So come on, you need to step up. You need to do something interesting. You need to yell at someone. You need to spaz out. You need to beg more, which you actually did beg a lot yesterday. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you giving me content where you sat there and begged. The only really interesting thing was that you're just, I know you have your goals, your member goals, and your tier 1 goal for each, and you didn't hit it. You barely hit it on the first stream. I think you limped and you got $51, and then the night stream you got 30-some bucks. It was pretty pathetic, and of course you lost more memberships. So I just find it so interesting that, I mean, not too long ago the standard was at least a tier 2 tip go every day and a tier 1 on the night stream. That was the standard, and now you're barely cracking the tier 1 tip goal on your streams. That's not good, Phil. And this is supposed to be the hardcore gaming season, and September was terrible for you, and October just seems to be pretty much the same. It seems like it's taking the same course and the same path. So yeah, but let's keep going.
The one stream all week that we haven't, I'm not complaining or crying about it. It's been a great week so far. It's all good. I did film my review of Scream 5 tonight, and that will be uploading momentarily to DSP Reacts. So if you're interested in that review, it's going to go live shortly. And then the review of for future Halloween movies, as well as Scream 6 will go live over the next couple of weeks. I hope you'll check those out over there. And that's that. Tomorrow, fun day as we go into endgame content of Lies of P. Apparently the final stage is the hardest in the game, and so I'm...
Okay, no one cares. We'll deal with Liza P tomorrow, I guess. But yeah, support, again, just like I said, support has just been lacking for Phil. I mean, I think he's down to 610 in members. And he'll be down under 500 just because, of course, OIC, like he stated in that super thanks he gave me, he's not planning to give Phil any gifted memberships this week, and that's been the case so far. And then again, tips, it just... Again, he's struggling just to hit that tier 1 tip goal on every stream. You know, he hits it once mainly thanks to 1 Minute Man. If it wasn't for 1 Minute Man, he wouldn't even be hitting the tier 1 tip goal on any streams. It's quite bad for our boy Phil, and it's really been bad because he hasn't even bothered touching or spending any. Well, not touching. He hasn't spent any money on WWE Champions. That thing has been dead for almost a month. And you guys know my take on that. I think something happened where Kat found out that Phil was spending money on WWE Champions, and she put a lockdown on that shit. And that was the impetus, of course, to hashtag Team Divorce. So he's been away from it. So I don't know if there was an intervention or something occurred where Kat, you know, locked up the testicles in a lockbox and basically told Phil, no, never again. You're not doing this. And Phil, for the most part, hasn't bothered touching or spending money on WWE Champions. So, but of course, once an addict, always an addict for the most part. And Phil will feel the urge to go back to his master, and that's WWE Champions, and eventually spend some kind of money. So, anyway, that's the video. It's short and sweet. Thank you, Phil, for making the content, the daily rap. By the way, that's another suggestion. Keep your daily raps to a minimum. Under 6 minutes. Anything more is just pointless and just drivel and just you going on and on, hopefully trying to get some additional clicks and ads. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.